Do you ever feel like your contribution to the world, especially at this age, isn't all that you want it to be? Like, do you ask yourself, am I making a difference? Do I have any impact at this point in my life? Am I just going through the motions? Well, I think you are having an impact, or you could have an impact. So let's consider something so important. And I keep it in my brain all of the time as I'm moving through the world, and it helps guide my decisions and my actions. And that is the butterfly effect. Have you heard of that? I think it's a commonly used phrase or sort of common, but it's often misused. So, a person named Edward Lorenz, a meteorologist mathematician from MIT in the 60s, was looking at simulated weather conditions. Now, hang with me. It'll all make sense. It'll come right back to us as women in our 50s, 60s, and 70s. I promise you. Okay, so he's looking at simulated weather conditions and he was changing these tiny infinitesimal variables on the computer program, expecting an identical result, and he was getting a vastly different result. And his to his surprise, honestly, and he kind of coined the term the butterfly effect, meaning that a butterfly flaps its wings in Brazil and it creates a tornado in Texas over time. I mean, that really doesn't actually happen, but that's the idea behind it, is that very small acts can make a huge difference. Okay, now let's tie it back to us at this point in our lives. And the thing that I always remember as I'm moving through my life, our world teaches us that big contributions make a difference, right? But I honestly feel like it's the little contributions, the little acts of kindness, the tiny pause to listen to somebody's concerns or conversations, just those polite interactions that we have with strangers and maybe like surface level friends or deeper friends or family members. It's the small things that we do that over time can make a huge difference in this world, and our world doesn't teach us that. Like I said, it teaches us that large contributions are what make a difference, but I'm telling you, I think it's the small things. And, as a counselor for almost 30 years and also just a person that looks for meaning and purpose in life, that is the biggest, aimless feeling that we have at this age is like, what meaning and purpose do I have? Where is my contribution? Especially after our kids are grown and we've retired, it's like, well, what else do I have to give to the world? You have a lot to give. When you go grocery shopping, when you return that Amazon package, when you walk around the block and your path crosses with another individual, or maybe a neighbor needs help, like, you get it, like, all these different ways you have an opportunity to show warmth, generosity, and kindness, interest and concern, provide assistance, and just be generous with your heart, your emotions, your time, your energy, your resources, and I'm telling you, it'll go a long, long way. I think back to this last week, and the things that stick out in my head are the acts of kindness, very small, that I could tell that person went above and beyond, like the extra mile for absolutely no gain on their part for me. And I remember that. And I remember that. And it touches my heart and it impacts my behavior moving forward. And we, until the day we die, have the ability to do that. We have the ability to be generous with all of those things that I mentioned and to put those out into the world. So if you are looking for a greater meaning and purpose in life now that you're maybe empty nest or retired, you have little bits and pieces of meaning and purpose every single day when you interact with the world and people in it. And don't underestimate the impact that you can have day to day. So my challenge to you is to look for opportunities to spread generosity, kindness, maybe even wisdom, instruction, and advice when they're asked for. um, y- to spread that generosity, spread your resources, to help other people out, even when there's absolutely no gain for you, it will touch their hearts more. So that's my challenge to you. And then I want you to note how that feels in your heart, how that impacts you. I have noticed, at least for me at this phase in my life, that the sense of aimlessness or purposelessness is diminished when I've had a day full of those tiny little butterfly effects throughout the day, that I've been mindful and intentional about that. And I'm wondering if you accept this challenge, or maybe you're already doing all these kind of things. How does it affect your heart? How does it affect your sense of purpose and meaning in this world? I would love to hear that. All right. Thank you so much for listening and joining me. And I'm sure we'll be talking soon, but go enjoy the rest of your day. Bye bye.